Here to talk to you today about those things that you accept in your life, the world that you accept. Most of you by now, I would say most of you, are aware that we're being controlled. You're aware that we're being manipulated on just about every level. Some of you may not know the depth that we are being controlled. Some of you may not know the depth that we are being manipulated. Some do. But most of you know that something's off. Most of you know there's some sort of corruption on some level somewhere in the government, in politics, in business. I would say a large percentage of the public knows that there is some sort of corruption at some level. You may not know the entire story, but you know something's wrong. And yet there are still some who are completely asleep, some who are completely blind to these illusions that are occurring. Many say it's life. Life is supposed to be this way, supposed to be this hard. And I haven't really found many people who are that happy. If life is supposed to be this difficult. It doesn't have to be financial, it can be emotional. Physical difficulties, emotional difficulties, spiritual difficulties, of course, financial difficulties. And if you do your research, one thing will lead to another. If you just use your intuition, that most of you are using, one thing will lead to another. And eventually you come to the truth. And when you come to the truth, there is no turning back. Yet some people will still see the truth. They'll hear the truth. And they'll still accept the least. They'll still accept lack. They'll still accept possibilities that things are impossible. And that's exactly what the methods of control and manipulation want you to believe, is that you lack the imagination to conceive of the impossible. Those who are in control want you to lack the ability to imagine, lack the ability to dream. They want to kill your dreams. They want to kill your imagination, your ability to be creative. And a lot of it is because of the self-absorption that now exists. I would say especially in America. And every vice has been used against us here in America. I would say mostly. Largely because there was a part where we ran the corporate gamut around the world. And other countries may see what we have done to their societies, how we've corrupted their societies, how we've infiltrated their societies, how we occupy other societies for the right of pride, for the illusion of terrorists, fear, terror, keep us safe. All these grand illusions that are being portrayed on the society to keep them at bay, to keep them disillusioned, to keep them down, separated, keep them twisted. keep them sick. And through this process of where the corporate state has set up institution around us for our services, it now becomes inconceivable for the average human citizen to create something different than what has already been placed before you. It becomes inconceivable to try to imagine what it would be like without the corporate state, without the corporate nation, and without the corporate world. Fortunately, Americans are and have been the most manipulated, I believe. The world too, but I believe the world's waking up. We used to be cool. America used to be the cool guys. We used to be the one everybody looked up to, the one everybody wanted to be. And corporations at that time knew it. And of course, they use it as a vice against us. Pride. Accentuate our own pride at the sake of killing our compassion for others. And for the most part, they're successful. They have been successful at creating services that create the lack within ourselves to be imaginative, to even believe that we need them to exist, that we need the poisons in our foods, the cost-cutting products that are put into our foods and processed packaging, and we need the corporate state for our convenient little foods and convenient little fast food drive-thrus. We need the corporate state to give us our pills, to convince us that they are the ones that we turn to when we're sick, or if that we're feeling a symptom. We must turn to the corporate pharmaceutical companies to give us our medicine, which is another service offered to the public. That we need them for our money, financial systems, and every day we pass around that money, those green little pieces of paper, pyramids on them, without ever questioning it. And every organization does it, every person does it, and every group does it. Even those who are awake. Even those who are awake and understand what's going on behind the scenes. Even those who are awake and understand what all these systems are in place for. You still use it. Every day you prop up their world. Every day you prop up their existence. And you finally reach the inevitable conclusion on how you're supposed to change this. And that's going to be through you, through us, unifying together. That is the only solution. But why is it the only solution? Most of you are so afraid to upset the establishment. Most of you are so afraid to stand up to your political leaders, your leaders in Washington, quote unquote leaders. It's very easy to be corrupted. It's very easy to be feeling like you're part of the club, part of the big boys and girls club. Throw a little money around, host a few champagne dinners, buy a few suits. Next thing you know, you're right there with them. Join hand in hand. You got yourself some new buddies, some new friends, and you eventually become convinced not to turn your back on your supposed friends. All these senators and representatives that are supposed to be of the people. At this point, I would assume that the human citizen at this time no longer believes in our political system, nor do they believe that the two people that they dangle in front of us in complete opposition to each other are supposed to be anything that we really desire for our society. That the politicians that they dangle in front of us to be our representatives are actually here for us. Unfortunately, most of them fear too, and most of them have been seduced. I'm not saying everybody, but that's why you don't hear the truth. The truth that I'm speaking to you today about, you don't hear these truths. They shun away from it. Why? Wouldn't you? You have a champagne dinner to go to tonight. You have to put on your nice suit. Go visit your barber. Get cleaned up. And when you go there, you're going to put on a smile. And you're going to shake everybody's hands. You're going to meet and greet everybody. And you're going to sit down at your reserved table, drink your wine, and you're going to listen to whatever speaker they've put before you. And you're going to enjoy yourself and be seduced by the lifestyle that they're going to offer you. That's just the way it is. So it's easy to see how seduction runs rampant in politics. To see why no one wants to say a damn thing about anything. Top it all off, when you put yourself into a tank of sharks, especially if you don't know where the sharks are coming from, then it comes down to fear. There is a reason why great humans of our past have stood up, all in the simplistic name of love, to love one another, to create systems based off the intention of love, unconditional love, of not harming one another, to help everybody, to have equality. These harmonic characters that we fail to have anymore, through to our self-absorption and us running to the corporate state for all of our services because we have lacked the imagination and creativity to create something different, something apart from them. And I'm not talking about small business owners, average human citizens. I'm talking about the corporate elites, the Illuminati, the dark cabal, whatever you want to call them. I just call them assholes, because that's what they are. With their symbology everywhere and all their businesses flaunting their power in our face, because they know they could suppress all these technologies against us, change our ways of transportation, our ways of living, devices that would cure disease. People know this. How many conversations have you had where you talk to someone about, well, I know they're suppressing this technology and that technology, but yet every day you get in your car, turn it on, turn that ignition, go to one of these local gas stations and put gas in your car, and you go to your perfectly designed economic control job where you must work 8-10 hours a day, earn your living, to be manipulated to bog you down with this routine, same old every day. You know it. Doesn't matter how successful you are. There's few out there who love their jobs, but there's even few out there who have that love within themselves to not bring it to their own life, but to live for others, with the intention to uplift others around you. And that's the point. You start waking up to the system that they've created, that's what you realize. You start to realize what they really have done. How they've really separated us. How they made us forget we have the power. That we have the power to create our own world, our own reality.